This customer came in, she's from London, wanting this bag dyed black so she could wear it. She'd taken it somewhere in London and they'd changed the whole look of it. And it's quite worn in bits, you can see there. So she'd like us to dye it black. So we'll keep the original Chanel dyed inside as well and through there. So firstly we take off the chain. So now we're going to put the stain on and we'll test it here, make sure we like what we're seeing. There are different stains on the market, so this is just one of them. And this goes right into the leather, so oh yes, that's nice. Very happy with that. So the leather is absorbing the black stain really well. We want the stitching also to be black. So I don't use a brush because I get a better even colour with the cotton. It looks more natural. We're imitating leather that's already tanned. So this is the only way. Once something is already made up in a handbag or a shoe, the leather is tanned very differently. It's tanned in vats. Where when we're dyeing something that's already made up, it's a different process. So we want to get into all those little bits of stitching, all these little corners, these little folds. The other thing, by putting on the stain, it means we're going to put less pigment on the top, which means that it'll look more natural as well. So it won't look like we've dyed it. It'll look more like the customer bought it. So that looks pretty black, which is good. So now we'll continue on the sides. Everything has to be done systematically. You can't just start randomly. And you've got to remember how many coats. So we can always go back and do another coat of this. If the leather didn't absorb the black, we could do another coat. But because it is absorbing, that's really good. Tricky around the sides there. So, different parts of the bag absorb differently. Now, if this bag was in a better condition, we didn't have to do it black. The customer wanted it black in this case, but we could have done it in its natural leather look. And we have done them before and they look quite beautiful. So this bag will look great because it's so worn. It will look fantastic once it's black. This is a different leather inside under the flap of the bag front. And it's absorbing a little bit differently to the rest of the bag. The customer told me that she'd got it for £200 in London, second hand. She'd taken it to a girl to restore and just destroyed it. It's unfortunate, but got to be careful who we give the bags to. Not all leather that we dye absorbs like this. So lamb leather is what Chanel uses for the Chanel bags. But if it's hard and shiny leather, it's much more difficult to dye. The leather is different in all different bits of the bag. Well, now comes the time to put the pigment coat on, but we have some wear and tear of the leather. We're going to fill up those little, I don't know if you can see them at all, they're little cracks in the leather. So we're first going to fill those up. There's a little bit there. Just join all that area up and make it strong. It's quite sort of thick, so just a wax. It's thick and makes those areas very strong and bonds them all together. So, but leather is wonderful and you can always restore it back. And leather should last forever. It's not just for one generation. It should be passed down in the family. So we'll do the other corner here as well. These ones aren't as damaged, so there's a little bit of wear and tear there as well. So I want to make that strong. The side's fine. A little bit of wear and tear here. So where the bag opens and closes, there's a little bit of stress there. And perhaps around this edging too. So this is the worst bit. We might press that down a little bit just to make it into one. So that looks much better there. And we might just put a little bit more on this one. This is the worst one. Straighten all that section up. And a little bit more there. But that looks much better. And around here was the other area, but maybe we need to leave more. got to finish off the inside of the bag. And even around there, that's still a little bit damaged. Want all that smooth. So when we put the dye on it, it'll be nice and new looking. So yep, there's still a little bit there. You can see a little bit more of that needs there. That side's looking good.